Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to the Success Code Fireside Chats, where conscious leadership meets business and real talk. And as you know, if you've been following us for a while, you know that we do a lot more real talk than anything else on this show. So, how was your week, y'all? How was your week? Y'all know I'm creating this event for next week, and my week has been full with kinds of stuff. People canceling, rescheduling, and guess what? I gotta move through it all. I gotta move through it all, and I gotta create an amazing 2-day event next week for the women who are ready to fill the gaps in their businesses and really step into their power and lead from a different level and step into 2026 powerfully in momentum, in cash flow, in mindset, in power. So that's what I've been working on this week. I want to know what you've been working on. So I'm super excited today. Y'all know when I get on these shows, I am excited because I know I'm bringing value to you with the conversations, with the people that I bring on, and I'm majorly excited today because I have the Bikini Chef, Suzanne Irby, on. Oh my gosh, listen, this woman has penned 11 cookbooks, y'all. 11 cookbooks, 8 taste awards. Like, wow, right? And she only has one purpose with all of this. It's for you to live your life vibrantly, boldly, with and through food. So, Suzanne, welcome to the Success Code Fireside Chats. I'm excited for our conversation today. Um, let's go
Thank
ahead
you
and
for
tell
having
people
me.
a little bit more about you, and then we jump in.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. It's very inspiring, and I just love you. When Lorna and I met recently in person, um, it was just such a connection, and so to be here is an absolute honor and pleasure. And
Thank you.
through food, Uh, food is such a huge part of our lives, right? And so many times we don't even think about what we're putting in our mouths and our bodies. But I had the gift of a beautiful mother who is still. She just celebrated her 88th birthday. Happy birthday, mom!
Happy
And
birthday,
she
Mom.
yes, yes. So back in the day, they didn't really call it culinary arts. They called it home economics. and and she was a home economics and nutrition major. So I grew up with the basis, the foundation that a colorful plate is a healthy plate. And she made 3 meals a day for us and worked. She was a kindergarten teacher for 30 something years. Um, but we always had balanced meals and grew up in the South. So, and instantly you think, oh, it's all fried food. Sure, we had fried food every now and then, but we definitely had balanced meals. So I grew up with that foundation and it stayed with me my entire life. And it doesn't mean that every meal is perfect, right? It doesn't mean that you never overeat or like you're just strict on this strict diet, but it is a balanced lifestyle. And that's what I talk about in the Bikini Chef is it is a lifestyle. So
Nice.
I know we're coming into the holidays. So, every day, every party and,
Yeah,
Thanksgiving is a huge meal, but you don't eat
yeah.
like that every single day.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So before we jump into that, because I want them to hear the progression of how you are now known worldwide as the Bikini Chef, right? So tell me what inspired, like give me kind of like the timeline, the evolution over the years, and how you got to the Bikini Chef.
Well, it
I
all goes back to family. And
mm,
this first cookbook that I wrote, so I was in a corporate job that was very stressful. And I loved the people I worked with, for the most part. There was a very stressful situation. And to get through that, I would go home and every night and I would just cook and I would make up recipes. And I wasn't a chef, I just loved to cook. And I went, and I also have in my family, we have my grandfather, in addition to being a professional boxer, he was a writer and an editor. So he's an author. So I have that gene in me, you know. And I went to a writer's conference and um, she said, write what you know and love. And so I was like, well, I know how to write and I know how to cook, so I will write a cookbook. And I
That
thought,
was
well,
pretty
what
easy, right? That was pretty easy. I know how to write, and I know how to cook.
so I will write a cookbook. And I thought to myself, well, if I'm going to write a cookbook, what is the path of least resistance? And it was Southern family favorites because we had all these family recipes. And every year, my family is spread out across the whole country. So every year we calling one another. Hey, Janet, do you have this recipe? Rhonda, do you have that? Mom, can you send this? So I wrote Cooking with Susan, Southern Family Favorites. And I put all my favorite recipes in here. And I found this little company called Cookbook Publishers. And I added in little pages and tips. And I would write little stories about what the recipe meant to me. And this was 25 years ago, 26 actually now. And this was in the day of fax machines. Many people watching don't even know what that is. But and I set up a book tour to where I had friends and family. And when I went on that book tour, I was asked why I love to cook, and I said it reminds me of home. And they asked me, "Well, you just must not eat Southern cuisine all the time. What do you eat?" And said, "Well, I said I don't. I eat salmon and broccoli and this and that." And they said, "We want to know what you eat." And when I told them the story of growing up on Lake Martin, Alabama, the house is still in our family today. It looks very different than the two-room cabin it was then. But we would water ski all day and we would cook in our bathing suits because it would be, you know, sunset. And when I shared that story, people said, well, you eat these healthy foods and you're cooking in a bikini. That makes you the bikini chef. And
I
so the
love
media,
it.
so I didn't, people think it was contrived. It was far from contrived. It was a name given to me. And over the years, quite honestly, I had tried to get rid of the name for a while. I was like, I just
Mhm.
want to be Susan. But no, people were like,
They
no,
would
you're the
they
bikini
love it. I
chef.
love that. I love it because one of the things, and I'm still gonna ask you. So normally when my guests come on and we start a conversation and ask them what success means to them, we're gonna still talk about that. But I really am just so curious about this bikini chef thing, and I want people to hear. So when we first met and we were having a conversation, we talked about. I remember you said something about uh body we were talking. I think it was because we were talking about your current project, I think, though. But what really resonated with me was the fact that you are really wanting to empower women of all body types. This morning I was walking, trying to coming back from my walk, and I'm thinking about this conversation, and I'm like, what would be the one thing that I would want to hear from Suzanne, from me? Y'all, I was being selfish. I'm being selfish right now. It is not about y'all. This is about me right now. Because one of the things that, and I'm walking, I'm thinking, wait a minute, the bikini chef. Lorna, have you ever worn a bikini? Suzanne, I don't think I've ever worn a bikini.
Well, we got to get you in a bikini. Why not?
I know, right? So
People
I'm
think it's
thinking,
about
oh my gosh,
people
what?
think it's about the bikini. It's not about the bikini. It's about you
No.
and
Yeah.
embracing who you are as a woman.
Self-expression.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to share that with you because it inspired me to be like, well, why haven't you worn a bikini? For me, I really feel really comfortable in a Speedo. Those are my favorite swimsuits. right? Because I think that they just show your contour and just hold you. It's like for me a speedo is like a teddy bear. It just hugs your body, right?
Yeah,
So
I
maybe
do.
that's the mindset I had. Why I've never worn a bikini is because um, that's the concept I have in my head is like bikini doesn't hold you. So
Right.
you
Well,
have
and you know, when you look at the history of the bikini, it takes different shapes and forms over this
over the
evolution.
years.
So,
Hmm.
a bikini doesn't have to be the itsy bitsy teeny weeny pink polka dot bikini or yellow polka dot. Mine's pink polka dots, but in my logo anyway, because I love pink, I love
Hmm.
yellow too. But anyway, but when you look at the evolution, the first bikini was very, go back to the days of Marilyn Monroe and Jane Mansfield, and the bikinis were not string bikinis.
Hmm.
They're very
Full.
form fit,
Hmm.
full coverage, and there are beautiful bikinis that are just very luxurious and full coverage and very hold you in kind of bikinis. So it's not a one stop shop. And now there are so many incredible bikini brands that embrace the women's body confidence. And you know even myself, like a lot of the ladies today will wear like the cheeky, that's not my style. Um, and so I prefer more coverage for sure. Uh-oh. Did we lose? We lost Lorna. Uh-oh. Did I lose you? Oh no. Oh shoot. Technical difficulties. It's a great opportunity to do this.
Here I am.
Oh, there you are. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, the thing just stopped. It started circling, then it stopped. I think the internet in here is pretty low. All right. So yeah, so you were saying it's not one stop shop. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And you know what too? It's all coming back. I think it's all coming back. Because everything is a cycle, right?
And
Especially in fashion, everything is a cycle. So I think that, I just never, for me, I just never really, uh, it was never really a thing for me,
right.
wearing a bikini.
Yeah.
So let me jump in. Let me jump in and ask you the question that I typically ask my guests in the conversations. What does success mean to you, Suzanne? In your own definition of success, not what everybody else thinks the definition is, but what is your definition of success? Your idea.
Success to me is everyday celebrations of the small wins in life. You
I
know, yes, this every day is a success. The fact that we woke up this morning and we're here right now, that is a success. We have started our day, with a win. Um, thank you for the prayer this morning. I read my Bible every single morning, without fail, and to me, this is my success. And it's so interesting because I started posting about my random, not random Bible verse. And every day I'll just flip through and I open it up and it lands on a page, and God will speak to me. And he'll speak to me very directly about something that related to my day the day before. And he'll give me guidance, and he'll just say, whatever it was yesterday. And today's, it was very interesting, but it was how we are guided by the Spirit. And I
wow.
firmly, yeah, I firmly believe that. And so that is a success in celebrating the small wins, because I can't speak for you guys in your year, but this year has been particularly challenging for me in my career path and somewhat in my personal journey as well. And you know, you just keep celebrating those small successes. And
Girl.
it's that I can never remember which it's coming up. It's a holiday show, but there's a song in it. Put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking across the floor, and then you keep putting one foot in front of the other, and then you'll be walking out the door. So there's so many times I have to remind myself of that, you know, just walking across the floor, uh, you know, theoretically, and just keeping moving forward, never giving up, never stopping, and you will succeed. I
Uh-huh.
promise you.
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah.
your dream is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for presence in that, Suzanne, because yeah, this year, I don't know, you're not even the first person to come on, and I'm going through my own things, girl. This year it's been like I've never experienced the year I've had this year, I've never experienced it before.
Yeah.
No, you know what? That's not true. That's not true. I've experienced worse than this year before. However, the way I'm walking through it is a different way, right? It's a whole different because the elevation in consciousness. Remember, we're talking about conscious leadership, right? The elevation in consciousness for me has supported how I move through challenges nowadays, how I move through adversities nowadays. By the way, let me share this joke with you. So the other day I'm on a mastermind call and we were having a conversation about adversity, and then the person who started the conversation started with the adversity they were going through, which was and I'm outing myself, y'all. I'm being judgy right now, today, right now, in this moment. So let me just be clear, I'm being judgy. um so the adversity, because in my mind, when somebody's going through an adversity, it's like a major challenge in one's life, right? The adversity was that the phone was broken, and by the way, one of the phones was broken, and they had to figure out how to get it um, delivered to their location because they were not home. That was the adversity. So I was laughing at that, y'all. But then I realized I brought myself back, and I realized it brought me to the awareness that everybody's definition and distinction of adversity is different, right? My adversity could be something devastating like somebody passing away in my family, right? Somebody really close to me passing away. Or it could be that I've been diagnosed with a horrible disease or something like that. Other people's, it may be to me smaller, but to them it's a huge deal, right? That guy was probably thinking, hey, my business doesn't work when I don't have my phone, that specific phone. So but adversity is I believe adversity is a part of the process of success. So I'm glad that you shared that. I think that without without that adversity, you won't know how to move through hard things. And I think that hard things are part of life. I mean, if you look at a seed, when you plant it in the ground, the hard part of the life of that seed is germination, y'all, because it it has to come through that outer cover, right? Because the seed is hidden in itself. If anybody's ever heard that term, a seed is hidden in itself. So as you're evolving in life, it comes with some challenges. So I think we get to go through those challenges, Suzanne.
We do, and
What do you say about that?
it's all about how you learn to move through those challenges. And
Hmm.
um, every decision, you know, whether it's financial adversity or a scheduling, like you're having adversity right now with rescheduling guests and people canceling
Hmm.
on your event, you know,
Hmm.
that is a real struggle. and it
Mhm.
can cause anxiety and
Mhm.
stress, and how we react to that mentally, physically, spiritually impacts how you're going to handle the next layer of adversity, because you're always going to have adversity. It's
Mhm.
how it's how we walk through and grow through adversity.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, I go back to my Bible again, and that doesn't mean that every decision I make is perfect. But I do try to pray about every little thing, even if it's something as, am I going to go work out this morning? Or am I going to go do this? Or
Yeah.
it doesn't, you don't have to look to prayer for like a deep hour-long meditation every morning. It's just constant communication and asking, Lord, what do you want me to do next? And how do you want me to do it?
Yeah.
And someone may insult you, and you have to take a deep breath and go, whoa, that hurt. How am I going to respond? What
Mhm.
do,
Mhm.
what do you want me to do, and how do you want me to do it? Do you want me to say something? If you do, how do you want me to say it? Do you not want me
Yeah.
to say anything?
Yeah.
So everything, and adversity is always going to be here,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and it's there to make you stronger.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that because the awareness, like what I just heard you really hone in on was how to live in awareness. And as you were talking about, praying about everything, and people who are listening, you have your own belief system. We're just sharing ours, take it or leave it. We're just sharing what we believe. But I love what you said just now about praying about everything. And when you're praying about everything, you're praying about every little thing. That reminds me of the scripture that talks about prayer without ceasing. So when you said it doesn't mean that you got to, lay out on the floor for hours. I believe that when that scripture meant awareness, be aware of all the things that are happening in your space at the same time and being like in communication, like you said, to get the answers. And the answers might not come right away. However, you will get the answer. You will get the answer. So I love that you brought that up. Love, love, love that you brought up because it's a thing that some people, my experience, especially growing up in church, and I don't know how we got to this conversation, but we were supposed to get to this conversation. But when we were growing up in church, um, the way we were brought up and the way the church was ran, and even now I still see the same thing. People tend to pray on Sunday and then they forget about the rest of the week, right? And I think that we're supposed to be praying, and praying doesn't mean asking for stuff. Again, it's an awareness, right? It's an awareness of where you are, what's happening, and how to process what's happening and what action to take within what's happening. So I love
And I
that you brought that up.
I want
Go
to
ahead.
say that, you mentioned, yeah, so no matter what your belief system is,
Hmm.
it's, you need a foundation. You can't do it alone.
Hmm.
And so make sure that your belief system is one that is strong, that you can walk in daily, because you need support. People are human, they are going to let you down. And then there are those like yourself, Lorna, that will build you up. But still, we're all human, and you need to be surrounded by, a foundation that aligns positively with your goals, your aspirations, whatever your dreams and hopes are. You you cannot make it in this world without having a strong belief system, whatever that is for you, and make sure that it supports you in a positive, healthy way.
Yeah. That's a non-negotiable right now.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
y'all, I've been on the other side. Lone wolfing doesn't work. Does not work. I would encourage you, if you don't have a community, find one. We're both members of the Diva Network. Let me give Diva Network a plug in this episode. We're both members of the sisters, the driven, inspired, visionary, authentic sisterhood. So I'll put a link below this video if you guys want to check us out. All right, Suzanne, I have a bunch more questions and I want to get through as much of them as possible because I have you today for myself. So, all right. So I want to go into talk about some of the myths of um being healthy. So, right, there's a myth out there that says in order to be healthy, it requires sacrifice. Meaning sacrifice maybe of the foods you love or the if you want to drink alcohol, of you know, there's a whole bunch of them. Those are two that came to the top of my mind, right? Like, what do you say about that? Because I think that's a myth. What do you think?
I feel that sacrifice is a pretty intense, dramatic word, for that. And so, really, it's more a healthy lifestyle, is more going back to that awareness, the conscious awareness of this is my body, like if I get a cut on my hand, I'm going to bleed because it's a real living thing.
Hmm.
So, not to relate ourselves to animals, but if you have a dog, or a kitty cat or a horse or whatever it is that you have, you're probably very specific about the foods that you feed them, you know, and you might be more specific about what you feed them and what they drink than you are your own body. So it's not so much about sacrifice, it's about being aware of what I want to feed my body.
Mm.
And people probably have the perception, which is a myth, that I never eat any bad foods. I eat bad foods all the time, but I don't live off of them.
But it's yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
And
don't.
there's a huge distinction with that. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
not a daily diet of bad foods. Yeah, which
correct.
is, the problem. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I
I
love that.
had I had a dark chocolate bar last night. It was really rich. Dark chocolate was delicious. It was so good. I was going to eat one square of it. No, I ate the whole thing.
Okay,
So
since you're in confession time, my friend my friend bought me um all kinds of goodies from I have a favorite bakery here. It's called Eatsy's, and this time of year they make the best pumpkin cheesecake loaf and carrot walnut muffins.
I can't
So that
believe
was
you
my cheat this week, huh?
I can't believe you just said that because 2 nights ago, I was literally talking to someone about my bourbon pumpkin cheesecake. It's on it's on my website, and it is incredible,
Mm,
and it takes a while to make it, but it is delicious, and I used to make them as gifts for people, at Thanksgiving. Yeah, because it's so good, and it's really rich. But again, you're not going to eat it every day, and you don't have to eat the whole thing,
whole thing.
and share it. Sharing is caring, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
that. All right. So love that. So here's my next question for you. Because I want to, so we're talking about myths, right? So I want to ask you, um, this one I'm really curious about how you're going to answer this question. So you have written 11 cookbooks, right?
Mhm.
First of all, that alone in itself is like blowing my mind, right? you have produced hit shows, right? We didn't talk about that yet. You've produced some really like well-known shows. And in all of that, you've maintained a wellness lifestyle. So how do you do that? How do you do that? How do you maintain all of the activities that you get to do? Because I'm sure there's a lot of, like you said, a lot of stress in doing all that stuff, and still anchor your mindset to make that possible. Because that's a lot.
It is a lot. When you're doing something that you really enjoy, I love to cook. I truly love to cook. And I truly go back to the foundation that my mother, provided me and our family is that I like vegetables. I like lean proteins. My body doesn't really digest heavy fats and sauces very well. And chances are most people's body doesn't digest that well. They've just been eating that way so long that they feel it's normal. It's
Normal. Hmm.
Yeah, it's normal. Like that's how it's supposed to be when it's really not. So mentally, the foundation is I go back to, my Bible and my meditations, and I write a lot. I journal a lot so that I can get out my thoughts and feelings. And in doing that, I want to advise, like, if someone goes and reads my journal, which they have before, not in recent years, but my second husband, it's like you have to be, you don't, if you're, when I write, and I encourage everybody to do this, just pour out your heart onto the pages. And if someone picks it up and reads it, that's their fault, and I'm not saying that you're writing anything bad about them or whatever, but people can be very judgmental. So you just can't worry about what
Hmm.
people think and what they say.
Hmm.
That's number one. But when it comes to the nutritional part, um, in writing these cookbooks, right? So like I had to, like, for substitute skinny, yourself skinny, for example, we shot all of these full color photographs. So I had to make all of these dishes, and then uh, you're setting up some. You're constantly around food when you're writing a cookbook, and I I would have said to myself, how did I not gain 10 pounds when I wrote this cookbook? And honestly, it's because of the foods, and they're the lean proteins. And they're that those or what I follow in my diet. The PFFs are your BFFs, and your PFFs are lean proteins, high fiber foods, and healthy fats. And when you focus on those three items, no matter what you make, lean proteins, high fiber foods, and healthy fats, your body will process that and eliminate what it doesn't need. And so,
Wow. It's that
yeah,
simple.
it's that simple. Yeah.
Huh.
So don't think of it as I can't have this sauce. I can't have this meat. They say this is not good for me. Just focus on the PFFs, a lean protein, and how is it prepared? Well, you might want it grilled, you might want it sauteed, you might want it, but it's still a lean protein. A high fiber food that includes herbs, that includes uh, different greens, leafy greens, vegetables, but a high fiber food can be a grain, but
Yeah, I was
is
just
it a
gonna say.
high fiber food, right?
Mhm.
So, like, parsnips are going to have more fiber than a baking potato, for example.
Okay.
They, but they taste very similar when they're prepared.
They do?
Um, yes, yes. When once you, like, if you prepare them in a similar way, and then you puree the parsnip, and you can put a little butter or oil in it with some herbs. It's
And
delicious.
then you cover your fats right there, your fats in at the
Right, and
same
then your
time.
healthy
So
fats. Yeah, so
yeah,
I like to use coconut oil. Not
me too.
everybody likes it. I enjoy avocado oil. I stay away from the canola oils and all of that. Now the seed oils are getting a bad rap. But the way I look at it is if you can make one small shift in your diet
Mhm,
every day, just
mhm.
one tiny shift. So today I'm not going to put 2 tablespoons of butter on my broccoli or whatever it is you're eating, or maybe you like broccoli, in the South, they like broccoli smothered with cheddar cheese and all of that. Skip the cheese and put some, sprinkle some, put some lemon on it and some herbs and a little garlic. It's delicious. So, but if you can just make one small shift each day, then even those small changes will make a huge difference in what you eat. But focus on the PFS, a lean protein, a high fiber food, and a healthy fat. And just being aware and conscious of that will be transformational in what you eat and how you eat it.
Oh, I love that. And I love that you use the word transformational because that just leads me right into my next question about what is your thoughts? What are your thoughts on food and your emotional state? So you just shared with us that we're to focus on lean proteins, high fiber, and good fats. How does that impact our emotional well-being? Because I have an idea that the foods we eat impact our emotion because a lot of times people, if they're emotional, let's say they're in high stress, they tend to eat foods to kind of like make them feel better, right? So that's why that's that in my mind, that's the connection. What's your take on that, on foods and emotions?
It's real. So number one, know that it's real. And I even experienced that. So you're not alone. It is a real and valid connection.
Hmm.
Food, and when you think about it, of course, our mental well-being and our emotional hearts are connected to food because there is a real relationship to food, right? Just you walk, there's a reason why real estate agents, as we are in that, bake cookies sometimes when they do an open house because people walk in, they smell the aroma of fresh baked cookies, and it generates, it creates an emotional response to you. And so the first thing is to recognize that it's real, and you're not alone. I don't have a percentage, but I would say more than 90% of the people in the world have some kind of emotional reaction and connection to food. And when you're stressed, uh, sometimes different types of stress will create different types of um, physical reactions too. So um, certain types of stress will cause you to hold on, your cortisol levels will increase. So there are chemical reactions in the body as well that happen when we have different types of stresses. And when you're this year, I'm sure my cortisol has been through the roof, and I've been struggling a bit with belly fat. And when you're
Mm,
stressed, you tend to hold that in your gut, and it is, you will find it more difficult to, you'll want your mind and your taste buds will crave certain things, right? So salty foods or sugary foods, and and it's hard, you do have to exercise some discipline, allow, I don't want to use the word allow, but engage in some of that, but being aware not to overdo it, because then you'll create a self-propelling circle that it'll be hard to get out of.
Mm,
And that is real. And then that's where you go back to your foundations and you keep that awareness of your PFFs. It's like, first, be kind to yourself. Know that you're not perfect. No one is perfect. So be kind to yourself and say, okay, my body feels this. I'm going through this right now, but I'm going to go back to my conscious awareness of those PFFs,
okay.
because the more you focus on the foods that are nutrient rich for you, the less you'll cravings you'll have, but you'll also develop a strength, an inner strength that will help you not only physically and nutritionally, but mentally.
Yeah.
And and again, it's those small steps like that to success. And those are real steps to success. What you eat and drink definitely impacts it has a direct impact on your success steps for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That. Um, again, themselves up, if they fall off the wagon, if they decide they're going to eat a certain way, when, like you said, cortisol is a stress hormone. So, you know, it loves when you're in stress. And again, the awareness of, well, and the acknowledgement that you are in the stress is what's going to help to manage all of that, right? I love that. All right, we're getting close to the end of the show. This has been so fun, but when we talk, it's like this all the time, right? So, all right, I want to jump into talking about um legacy right now, because I know that you have projects going on, and I want to hear about that, and I want the audience to hear about that, and I want to talk about, collaborations that you're doing. And because one of the things that we're going to talk about at the Accelerate Her event next week is joint venture partnership for you. As a part of the Dining Empire and the Diva Network, what has uh, the collaborations and the partnerships taught you about expanding your repertoire? I mean, your repertoire is already huge, right? And partnering up with those entities, what lessons have you learned in those partnerships in collaboration with them that you can share with the audience to think about?
The When it comes to collaborations, it's beautiful when you're open to learning and hearing how other people have gone about arriving at where they are, and learning from their experiences. And um, collaboration is all about what you bring to the table, and then what these other people or entities bring to the table, and how can you work together to grow together. And so it's really fun and beautiful when that happens. So I would say the biggest thing when it comes to collaboration is not what can they do for me. It's how can we serve one another.
Together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every collaboration isn't necessarily going to be 100% perfection. And that's why a collaboration will be a platter, so to speak, going back to the chef world, of many different entities. So like on a charcuterie board, you'll have this
I was
type
just
of
gonna say, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
A
or on
great
a let's say
analogy. Mhm.
yeah, you'll have nuts, and then you'll have some cheeses, and then you'll have this type of of charcuterie, and then we might have some olives. But together, it's a beautiful um, arrangement. So just look for people that align with your goals and your spirit,
Mm-hmm.
and and really think about what do I have that I can offer them, and then that will come back to you tenfold. So yeah.
So good. So
And
good. So good. So
I
good.
want to really, really quickly going back to stress and food. So, I'm certified in food healing, and what that means is there are specific foods that can help you through stresses, right? So, um, leafy greens. I'm a big fan of beets. So, if anyone who is watching, if you have specific questions about um, how you're feeling and nutritionally, maybe changes you could make in your diet. I actually have a food healing nutrition program, and I do it in collaboration with Dr. Ward Bond. And anyway, we can help you with a program that can help balance your gut. And I even had to do a personal reset. Just started like 2 weeks ago, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So structure, yeah, structured meal plans, portioning out, all of that can help. So
Yeah.
having structure.
Yeah. That's a lot of discipline too, right? That's what I hope that everybody who's listening today can hear the underlying through lines of this conversation. One of them is discipline, right? In almost everything you said today, the discipline was coming up like crazy. All right, so here's my last question for you. Um, if you could share one success code for women out there nowadays, because I mean, the Bikini Chef, I mean, that's an empire on its own, right? Um, what's one success code that you would share with women who are out there building their own empires in this day and age? Because you've been doing this for a long time, right? So it's you've evolved over the years. You've changed a lot of strategies. Now I see collaboration is one of your strategies. What is the one thing that you would advise women who are looking to build an empire like you did?
Keep climbing,
Mhm.
keep climbing. Don't stop. Don't stop. Never give up. Keep
Yeah.
if it's in here, uh, people are going to deter you. People are going to want to get in your way. People are going to think you're crazy, you know, and people are going to say, even people very close to you say, well, you gave it a good try. Mm-mm. And I'm going to go back to my Power of Positive Thinking book. This is my second year reading through this, and I love it. And today's message is, how old are you? Right? I'm going to get my eyeglasses because I want to read you the last line in this is, a person is not old until he has lost his vision. A person is as young as long as he or she sees the possibilities around them. So never give up. It's never too late. You're never too young. You're never too old. And your passion is in here. So keep your belief and keep moving forward. Keep walking, putting one foot in front of the other until you're walking across the floor. And then you'll put one foot in front of the other until you're walking out the door. And do that every single day, and you will succeed.
Awesome. Okay. Spoiler alert. One last question. So seriously, seriously, this is the last question. Um, what are you working on right now? Share with everybody what's coming up for you, what's coming up in your as you continue to take the steps, right? As you continue to head towards the door, right? What are you working on right now that's exciting?
Thrilled, thrilling, actually, is America's Next Bikini Chef. And let me share with you why. Because I was asking God last year, said, Lord, what are we doing? There has to be more to share with people all over the world than just recipes, cookbooks, and cooking classes. What are we doing? So he says, we're going to find America's Next Bikini Chef. It's the first ever figure flattering reality television series. So figure flattering chef and active lifestyle. And it's the bikini lifestyle blown up, in mega proportions. We're going to have bikini chefs all over the United States. So we're going to film in 6 states. And imagine it's American Idol meets Miss America pageant, right? With contestants from different states, um, um, performing on different levels. So they have evening gown, they have swimsuit, they have the question, and then meets next Food Network stars. So we're going to have everyday women all across the country cooking in bikinis and sexy, cute aprons. Plug to my couture apron people. They are amazing aprons. I can't wait to get the show started so you can meet them. And our contestants, diversity, culture, cuisine, and they're also going to do a fitness activity in the show. And then they have to answer the question, what does the bikini chef mean to them? And the applications and videos that I am receiving make me cry every single time for like 20 minutes because the women are talking about feeling positive and embrace feeling good and about themselves. And it's not about the bikini. Not one video has talked about the bikini. They've talked about body confidence, femininity, embracing your loving yourself and putting nourishing foods in your body and then living that active lifestyle, whether it's Pilates or weightlifting or walking their dog or swimming, whatever it is, but being active. And, when you're active and you're eating those PFFs, you feel good and you feel more energized. And so it's coming soon to a network near you. And we are set to begin filming in January. We will film the first market in California. Yeah, we'll have Bikini Chef California. And then we'll have 5 other states. And then those 6 winners will compete for the grand title of America's Next Bikini Chef. And here are 2 exciting things. The state winners will receive $10,000 plus $5,000 for their charity. And then the grand title winner will receive another $25,000. But my biggest thrill, yes. So this could be very impactful for these women and their charities and their platforms, their dreams. It's helping them fulfill their dreams. But I'm also thrilled that each woman will be bringing her own recipes to the table. So I'm not going to say, here are these ingredients, you have to use these. No, they're going to send me their recipes and I'm going to make sure that we have their ingredients in the kitchen for them to make. And guess what? When we're all done, at the end of the season, each winner will have her profile in the America's Next Bikini Chef cookbook with her picture, some of her recipes from her culture, her background. We'll tell her story, and then we'll have each winner and the grand finale winner in a compilation.
Compilation book. Oh my gosh, that's brilliant. That's
It's going to
brilliant. That
be
just gives me goosebumps. Oh my God.
Yes. So we'll get to tell the story of all of these beautiful, incredible, diverse women. What their recipes, like I was asked 26 years ago, why do you like to cook? Why do you like to cook? Why do you like these recipes? And who's not going to not just want that cookbook, but really gets tremendous value from that cookbook. I am thrilled
Wow.
about that cookbook. Yeah.
Wow.
And and I'm gonna make sure it's like a coffee table book, so it'll have beautiful full color images of the women. Um, Maybe we'll have a photo of them from when they were on set. We'll have some photographs of their dishes. But, women who have applied, some of them are from Jamaica, some are from Germany, some are good old USA, some are from, we have women from around the world who have applied to be, to compete in the show. So think of the recipes we're going to get to
It's
share
crazy. I
and the
know.
stories. Yeah. Yeah. So
That
that's,
now I
yeah,
know why you're thrilled, not just excited.
I
Oh,
am. I'm
wow,
really,
wow, wow. Well, I
I
wish you
can't
all the
wait.
best
Yeah.
with that
Thank you.
project. Yeah,
Thank
I wish you all the best. That's what I'm talking about with impact, right? Imagine how many people will be impacted by the show, by the women of the show, right? That's what I call ripple effect. Like
Yeah.
that ripple effect on steroids.
Yes.
Um,
Yes,
oh,
there will be
I'm so excited.
60. Yeah, there's going to be 60 women around the country competing. So imagine how many stories that is to share and how many incredible recipes. And then the viewers, they can take those dishes and make them for their families, their friends, and their children will maybe go to school having a different perspective on cuisine. I cannot wait to get into production.
Yeah, yeah. This is gonna be really good. All right, Miss
Okay.
Suzanne, it was great having you here. This has been really enlightening for me, and I hope you guys have found real value in the conversation. One of my biggest takeaways is to focus on my PFFs. And I gotta tell you, I have an idea of what healthy fibers are, but you just kind of open my mind up to I didn't consider parsnips as a fiber. I didn't even consider it as fiber girl. So that was an education for me right there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
telling you, yeah,
Fiber is in all kinds of things. So avocado has fiber in it. Did you
yeah.
know
But what
that?
I really mean, let me clarify. What I meant was when you made the comparison of a sweet potato and a parsnip. That
Yeah.
to me was like, okay, really? Because in my mind, a sweet potato has more fiber than a parsnip. You just clarified that for me. So
Well, I compared it to a baking potato, not a
bacon
sweet
potato,
potato.
yeah,
Yeah, a
yeah,
russet potato. Yeah.
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 Even then, in my mind,
Right.
the potato has more fiber than a parsnip. So that for me was a aha moment. It's the simple things for me, my dear. So thank you for that. All right.
Well,
So
I encourage
uh,
people to go to my website, theBikiniChef.com. I have all kinds of recipes there. Yeah. So go
yeah.
to
So what I'm
theBikiniChef.com.
gonna do is I'm gonna put your link at the bottom of this recording so that people can head there and find some recipes and um find
And
there was something else that you
there's
said you
um,
had.
yeah, there's still time to apply to compete in America's Next
Oh,
Chef. So you don't have to be a chef. You don't have to be an athlete. It's everyday women aged 25 to 55. There's still time to apply. Just go on the bikinichef.com, type in casting, and it'll take you right there. All the information. You'll submit an application and send me a video. And I can't wait to get it. The videos are
yeah.
so inspiring. I cried for
Yeah.
20 minutes every time I get one.
I love that. That's because you're in purpose on purpose. So all right, y'all. That's it for the show this week. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching on the replay. Thank you all for just the love that you give my guests and myself as you watch these videos, these shorts on YouTube. Y'all, this is why I do what I do. do this. It's to bring you value so that you can see yourself in the conversation and make the changes that you get to make in in your life from the conversation. So keep watching, keep sharing. Thank you for supporting us as we build, and we're going to continue to bring you more guests who are going to support you to build your legacy, your empire. So thank you again, Suzanne, for being here. Don't forget to get your tickets for the Accelerate Her 2-day event next week. If you're building a business, you do not want to miss that event. And I'm serious about that. You do not want to miss that event because we're really focused. The mission of that show is to bring you guys the solution, the one-stop solution to all of your business challenges. That's the idea of that show. So don't miss it. Grab your tickets in the link below. And I will see you next week. Bye for now.